Alright, it's finally that time has arrived where it's finally pretty much done. Pretty much a lifelong dream, and I'm not kidding when I say that. I've been building models ever since I was a kid, you know, whether it be rockets or whatever. In fact, I took my line of work, I'm a mechanical engineer, and I spend most of my time out on the floor with my hands and stuff, you know, building. But anyway, here she is, fully lit up. And I'm going to go through kind of a little bit of everything of what I did and why and how, you know, as a final. I've still got some things to do. I've still got some loose ends I need to take care of. You know, I need to get my knobs and stuff for the doors. I've got a few little loose ends. You know, I need to put a kick stop for the doors, you know, so the knobs don't hit the walls and stuff. Little things like that. Little 10-minute projects here and there. But it's pretty well done, and it's pretty well set up, and I've actually been using it. You can see up there I've been working on a model and trying it out, kind of getting a feel of the room and where my tools are and stuff and set up. Put a lot of thought into it. I mean, I've thought for years about it, to be honest, but I really put a lot of thought into when I was building this room about everything I could think of, you know, as far as making it. Like I said in my very first video, I wanted to make it where I had the place to put everything, but yet I was able to get to anything, you know, at the same time that I needed to, and have places, you know, it's easy to kind of pick up and clean up whenever I need to, but yet I can sprawl out and have plenty of room. When I don't feel like, you know, I can just leave stuff, shut the door, and let me get into the details. Okay, the airbrush room is not, you know, it's a separate project. It's my next phase. Got to get the floor in. I went ahead. I've got material now to build my airbrush booth. I've got to pick up a motor and the vent piping, and that's going to go through the floor and out to a foundation vent. It's going to work out great. I got gravity working for me because the vent's going to go straight down and out. I've got air hooked up now to the workbench because I've got a line run to the bench, and actually the hose that I have run is long enough that I can actually go over to the closet with it and spray. So kind of unique, but I'm good to go, so I don't have to hustle and try to get this built before I can start spraying. As far as the actual airbrush setup, this is the tank in the room, 9-gallon. This is I guess you could call the holding tank. It's supplied by a tank in the garage, or by a compressor in the garage. That's a large, sizable compressor, but it's very loud. But it keeps this tank filled with 125 pounds. So there's no issues with bleeding off as you spray or anything like that. It's plenty of air, and it stays pressurized from the tank compressor outside. In fact, I don't even have the compressor outside turned on, except when I'm outside using it, or when I want to replenish this tank, which is every couple weeks or so. I'll go out there, flip it on, fill the tank, shut it back off. That way, if something does happen, a line blows, the compressor's not going to come out there and run and run and run until it burns up. So it's totally silent, completely silent. I have a line going to the bench, which has its own filter. It's a particulate filter and a moisture filter with a drain, and and it has its regulator, which is I've got set pretty much right at where I need it most of the time for spraying the Model Master paints I use. And then I have the quick disconnect, which hangs on an old airbrush hook, and this hooks right into any of my airbrushes. Have any airbrush, clip her in. So I've got any airbrush at the booth. I've got adjustable air, and it's all right there from the stool. Totally silent, no noise. But that's the actual airbrush setup that I have in here. And of course there'll be a line coming out in this room to the main airbrushing booth. Still comes off the same tank. It'll have its own regulator and filter with the same disconnect. So I'll be able to spray, I'll have lights, ventilation, everything going in here. And that's the airbrush setup. So it's all nice and neat and actually functioning for me now before I have to go and finish up the room. I've got all my lighting, got everything lit up. Got my little netbook over there. As you can see, I build on this half of the bench, and there's plenty of room for two people to work up here and have tons of space to build. Or say if the grandkids, the baby, you know, my little grandboy's over here, he gets a little older, he can build a model with Dad, or he can play, you know, sit up here and color and play and stuff too, and kind of have a little room to play in. I am going to put in a rug, kind of a square rug in this area, just to kind of deaden. That's one thing about the room, it's echoey and hard surfaces, and it's kind of echoey in here. So, you know, once I get my actual computer chair, you know, this is a kitchen table chair. Once I get my computer chair and a carpet, you know, rug and a few other things in here, hopefully that echo, that sterile laboratory echo will go away. But let me take you guys through the layout and kind of what you know, how I planned it. And as you'll notice, there's just not a lot of stuff out. You know, not a lot of, you know, paints and containers with tools and things like that. I wanted to make it a little cleaner than that and have it, you know, accessible. So when I'm sitting in my chair, and I'm working, there's all my tools to my right. I can reach in here and grab anything I need to grab. I've got everything organized, sorta, you know, glues, knives, cutters, files, fillers, blades, solvent glues, saws, tweezers, sanding sticks, more sanding stuff, scribers and palette knives and putty applicators, more scribes. Got my mini drill handle, drill bits, and then in the very back I've got my decal stuff there. And then here's all my sandpapers. I kind of have them in envelopes cut up. You know, I just get the stuff at the auto stores, the different grades, and cut them up and put them in envelopes. And that's it. I mean, that's pretty much all my tools I need. And it's just I go in and grab my knives, and I leave stuff laying out. But it's nice to have it set up to where if I do want to clean up a little bit or pick up a little bit, I can open my drawer and throw my stuff in and kind of just shut the door. I mean, don't be scared by the laboratory look. It's not, you know, you know, there's going to be stuff sprawled out just like any modeling room, but I can easily put things away, and I have a place to put stuff and kind of put it out of the way without any kind of effort, you know. And that's what I was going for. That was a big part of this room. The next drawer is my paints. Same thing. I've got organizers in here. Got all my paints laid out. I went yesterday and kind of put them kind of by color. And this is all Model Master acrylic pretty much, which I love that paint. I really like it. And you know, got my brushes, my thinners, my paints. I got enamels and things in there too, and my metallizers are all here. So it's kind of organized. But when I'm, you know, painting or doing a model, I'll take out my paints, and I have a little rack up here that I kind of keep the paints that I'm using at the time out. And so I'm not constantly going in here getting the paint out, putting it back, and all. Not that anal, but it's a great place to put my stuff, you know, and it's right there. If I need to reach and grab another bottle of paint, I just reach to my right, open the drawer, grab out what paints I need. So it just worked out awesome. I couldn't be any more happy with this whole setup. And then, you know, you get to the taller drawers where I could put taller things, my tester sprays, you know, ink pens, my measuring type of stuff, and scales, and my weathering things, some blue tack, you know, that kind of stuff. that I don't use very often, but it's right there, handy to, you know, ready to go. And then the bottom drawer, it just ended up being my containers and you know, old yogurt cups I've kept and all that. You can just, you know, you use them and you just throw them away. I've got all my bottles for mixing stuff when I'm doing the, like, Createx and things like that. Press and seal, some spoons for practicing, you know. Oh, there's my bare metal foil I've been looking for the last 3 days. I need to get that out of there. But yeah, and that pretty much covers everything, you know, mainly that top drawer. That just works out awesome. I love it. Okay, and then a bonus that I didn't really plan, but it worked out perfect, is that this upper cabinet is right here. When I'm sitting at my bench, let me get in position here. I'm sitting at my bench and I open this door, everything's right there. I can reach right in and get, there's all my thinners, my solvents, my, you know, bleach for doing, you know, for stripping chrome, and thinners. This is a water bottle I use for cleaning my brushes, you know, just all that kind of stuff. It's all right there, and I can not even get out, I don't have to get out of my chair, it's all right there. And this is my Decal Bowl, which I keep rubber bands in. Also, those are as handy, as you guys know. And then on the next shelf, I have, you know, extra paper towels. I have my visor. I'm still in my chair and still can reach all this stuff. So it's wonderful. I love it, man. I can just shut the door, and it just works out great. This here is a piece of marble that I got from an old table somebody was throwing out. I'm like, yeah, you ain't throwing that out. I'll take that. You know, it's a beautifully flat, polished piece of marble. I've had this thing kicking around for years and years in my garage. You're just waiting for a model room. So if I, you know, and it works out good because when I'm mixing paints and junk like that up here, nothing, you know, glues, paints, nothing hurts this stuff. Plus, it's super flat. You know, if I'm gluing something that needs to be really square or flat or whatever, I've got a place to do that. But it's just, it adds a nice touch, and it comes in handy, and it was free. And you'll notice that you haven't seen where all my tape is. This is an old wooden box that I've had kicking around. Again, I thought about, you know, I'll use that for modeling sometime down the road, and here it is. It's got all my tapes in there, and they're up on the bench, you know, so I can go in here and grab any tape I need or whatever. And the bonus is that, you know, it keeps the tape clean, I guess, you know, the dust and stuff, just by it being in the box. Just worked out that way. You know, I'm always thinking about, hey, how could I use that, you know, and it's, you know, finally at the point where I'm actually using the stuff. A little tray that's got some Q-tips and things like that. My mixer, which is extremely important when using the Model Master paints. And usually I keep that in here. It sits down with my paints in here. But I notice a lot of times it's just sitting out. But anyway, that's kind of where I keep that. And then the clamps and things, you know, these cute, these little clamps here that, you know, you can flip them around and make them into a nice little clamp. I use the heck out of these things, so I've got to keep them out, and little binders and clamps and stuff. So that covers a lot of the clamping. Plus I bought some more alligator clips and skewers to make more of those little part holders. And the ever important toothpick thing, you know. I just flip it over like that and get a toothpick. It works out awesome, man. It's just some kind of a shaker I found. I filled it up with toothpicks, and I found if I could give it a shake like that, then I can pull out toothpicks just super quick. So that's cool. I love that. And I use the heck out of it so it stays up on the bench. And then I made, you know, I had some of this oak left over from where I did this light up here. I don't know if that'll show up, but see that oak board up there? I had to buy a sizable piece. So I've got leftover pieces of oak, and I made this little paint rack, so when I'm painting a model, as I'm working on here now, I can keep the main paints out. I'm not you know, it ain't like I'm going to take out a paint, and then put it back and all that. I mean, I can kind of keep out the main paints I'm using and have a little holder for it. It don't spill. It's oak. It matches the cabinet. I mean, it's really nice. And then I went ahead and drilled holes to put some of these things in it. I've got another piece left, and I'm going to make another block with holes in it to put more of these in, and that's why I've got the skewers and all that for. So I'm going to make another actual block for some more of that and have that up here on the table. And then as far as the table itself, Harbor Freight has a 2 foot by 3 foot cutting mat, which is huge. I mean, it's the width of this table is 2 foot, and then 3 foot is quite a span. I'm going to go ahead and get that thing and lay it up on here, and that will make me feel good about not spilling, especially like solvent glues and stuff, onto this top and just permanently messing up this top. So there'll actually be a cutting mat that goes from here all the way to about here, and from the front all the way to the back, and that'll be laid up on here, so I don't ever have to worry about tearing up this nice top, you know, or spilling glue. I mean, paint's fine, it cleans right up, but glues, certain things, it's just going to be really nice to have that full big old mat up on the whole area. And then, you know, I can still throw my other mat on top of that if I don't want to cut into the big mat that much or anything. But that's my big idea for just protecting the area from spills and stuff, because I'm as clumsy as can be. I've already spilled paint twice on this bench, but it wiped right up, no problem. But I couldn't imagine if I spilled a bottle of 10X or something. And so I'm going to get that big mat. It's a little pricey, but with the coupon and everything, it's very reasonable, and it's going to look really nice too, you know. And then I know somebody had mentioned in a video of mine about, do you really think you have enough outlets and stuff, you know? You know, I've got one outlet here, and I've got one way down there. Well, I really don't have that many electric tools. I mean, I got my Dremel, possibly a hairdryer or something, but I took care of that. I drilled holes through the bench and put these inserts in it, and you can, this top piece pops out. I drilled a hole, and you have these inserts that you can drop in there, and they're like $3, but they're well worth it, man. It looks really nice, and I can drop all my cords down through, and then you have this thing adjust for different cords and amounts of cords and stuff, and then you pop it in. Well, that's kind of nice. It looks nice, and it keeps, you know, instead of having a hole there where parts could fall down into, and it dresses it out, it looks really nice. So I can run cords if I wanted to add another light, or I don't know, whatever. And it runs down into to this outlet here, which is a GFI and a surge suppressor. So, you know, I've got 6 outlets down below as well. And that's not all. I went ahead and put another one in this, way over here in this corner. And those will all run down into this cabinet. There'll be a power strip back in the bottom here. So I can plug in TV, which Santa supposedly might be bringing me. It fits fits perfect under here. It's one of those little widescreen flat TVs. It's from Walmart. It's $100. But it has the built-in digital tuner. I can hook cable to it. I can hook a DVD player, all that stuff. And my little cables will run right down in the back and be real nice and neat. And the extra bonus is that I made this light switchable, so I don't have glare. You know, when I'm sitting over here at my bench, I don't have it's not a big glare on the screen from the light, and just sit there. I can watch a ball game or watch a DVD or whatever as I'm building, and just have a good old time in my little hobby room. And that pretty well covers it. The upper cabinets, like I showed, you know, I've got all that stuff there. Got my paper towels, got my ever essential magnifying thing because my eyesight sucks. On this side, I've got all my can paints, primers, clears, mostly metallics, and you know, a few colors, black and things like that. I've got all my paints inside the house now, and which is great. Oh, up top, I got my body painting fixture for you know, putting bodies on and taking out and painting, spraying or whatever. This is my spare parts for models, you know, motor blocks and wheels and that kind of stuff. It's kind of small. I don't have a lot of stuff. But I'm actually buying one that actually fits almost this opening perfectly, which is pretty sizable. And I'm going to be buying that and putting that in here for now, you know. And that'll hold me for a long time as far as my spare parts and everything. And, but, you know, as the room grows, as my parts grow, and all the stuff kind of grows, I've got room for expansion, you know. Because I've got this whole entire side. I've got this whole cabinet, all this area down here for more stuff, more things. Right now I just got all my airbrushing things and all that stuff in these cabinets that'll actually be going into the airbrush room. So yeah, I got a bunch of stuff in here right now. I've got my, you know, my airbrushes and hoses and bottles, all that kind of stuff is in here right now, but that's all going to transfer into the airbrush room. You know, this is empty. I've got my Dremel tool, but so, you know, I made sure I had room for more stuff, you know, as I, you know, more airbrushing, you know, specific paints and bottles and cleaners and, you know, all that stuff. But like I said, all this is pretty much going in the airbrush room, so I have plenty of room for more stuff. And we all always need room for more stuff. I mean, that's just how it is. Up here I got some display area, you know, for models. And then on this wall here, I'm going to build a big display cabinet with a Lexan a Lexan face on it that folds up and down. And it's going to have shelves on it, and I can display quite a few models. Probably about a dozen models, you know. And it's going to be wood and kind of blend in. I've got plenty of that stain, and I can make it all real nice and pretty and match. So, you know, at that point it really is going to look like a model room once I get that done, get some models on display. I've got some pictures and a few awards and things like that, stuff that I'm putting up, you know. Just haven't got to that point, but it's all, you know, the main thing was getting her done. I brought my guitar amp in here. Since this is kind of become almost a sanctuary now, I got my guitar amp in here, and I can swing around in my computer chair when I get it and plug in a guitar and jam for a little bit, and kind of had a good, you know, I've been trying to find a good place to put my amps, so there it is. And it actually kind of blends in real nice, don't it? But yeah, okay, and then on to the big desk. I've got that all set up, obviously. I still got to load the software for all my printers and everything, and spend a day pretty much just kind of getting everything up here working and functioning right. I've got a lot of dusting and cleanup to do because there's a ton of dust in here I just got from all the work. You know, I need to go through, kind of clean everything up, get it working, and test it out. But it's wonderful to have, you know, all the stuff together in one area. I didn't have that before. This is going to make it so much more easier and efficient to do decals and masks and scan stuff. And, you know, I've got all my masking material and vinyl down here, and my transfer tapes and all that stuff. Everything's all kind of where I need it to be. One thing I need to say I forgot about. By the way, I'm getting a much better chair than this. This chair is not very comfortable at all, but it does the job for now. But it'll be put away up under here for when somebody comes over, wants to work, or, you know, and they can pull out that. It's the perfect height. So it's okay, but it's not something you want to sit in for longer than about 15 minutes. It's very uncomfortable. This is not padded. This ain't all padding. It's like a wooden rim with a top, and then has like a 1/2 inch really thin foam. And when you sit on the thing, it almost just collapses, so it just feels like you're sitting on a wooden stool. But the problem is that this rim kind of digs into your back of your leg, into your thigh. It's not real comfortable. I don't care much for it. So I'm getting this nice Craftsman chair. It has an adjustable seat and an adjustable back, and really nice. But yeah, that's hopefully Santa will come through on that. We'll see. But yeah, a good comfortable chair is obviously real important when you put this kind of effort into a room. You don't want to scrimp 20 bucks on a chair, you know. You want something that's comfortable, that you can sit in for a long time and be comfortable in. But anyway, what I wanted to say was on this top, you know, I'm going a pretty good span here. And after I put this top in, the next day after I put it in, I was kind of checking. I have a big long piece of aluminum angle iron that's real straight. I laid it across there and the top was sagging. I mean, these kind of tops, these kitchen tops, are just not made for, you know, spanning like that. They will sag. So I ended up getting some brackets at Home Depot. They're about $5 a piece, but they're rated for 1,000 pounds. So I've got 2 brackets up under here. I actually took my floor jack and just brought this up until it was nice and level with that angle iron head. And then I mounted these brackets up in there, and they use small lag bolts that go into the studs. So this thing's good and solid, good and flat, good and straight, and you could stand on it. You could jump up and down on it and not hurt it. And it's good and flat and level. So that's something I thought I'd bring up. If you guys doing it, you know, if somebody down the road ends up using something like this, you go too much of a span at all, you're going to have to add some brackets to keep it good and flat. A few loose ends, but as you can see, I've already been in here doing a little bit of modeling, trying it out, seeing if it's really kind of laid out, if I can really get to things and all, and it's just awesome. Totally awesome. I love it. Absolutely love it. And I know a lot of you guys are living your dream through me right now, you know, just dying to get your room going too. But you know, and hopefully, and I know you guys will. You will. Just give it time, and always be on the lookout for things that you can use. You know, that's what I did. You know, and you'll get there. You'll get there, and yours will be different. You know, I mean, this is in a house. I mean, this is in a room. So I kind of had to go the extra mile and make it pretty and painted and nice, so it would kind of match with the rest of the home, you know. But, you know, if you're in a garage or a basement and all that, you don't have, you know, you're not going to have to be as picky as I was about, you know, really getting everything nicely done and painted and perfect and neat and stained and all that kind of stuff, you know. So, well, you don't even have to do that in your house if you don't want to be honest. But, you know, I did try. My goal was to kind of make this suit the rest of the house, because I've been doing this kind of work throughout the house, you know, as time's gone by. And this room just kind of fits in with all the, you know, the rest of the home and everything. So, yeah, I went the extra mile. But thanks for watching. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Start showing off some models. I hope you guys have a good happy holiday.